All right, it's 6:36. Shall we get started, or is there anything else? Anybody have any questions or want to share? Okay. Actually, I'm going to call up a couple of people here tonight. I would like to invite up the chair of the Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Committee, Dr. Adrienne Aiko Thompson.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm going to hide behind the podium. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. On behalf of the Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Committee at the Padron campus, it is my great honor to open our fall 2025 semester with this very special event, Mantra and Melody. Our committee exists to celebrate the many contributions of Asian Americans by creating spaces where culture, scholarship, and community meet. We do this by collaborating with community partners such as Sacred Vedic Arts and hosting lectures, workshops, art exhibitions, and performances that deepen understanding and connection. Tonight's exhibit embodies that mission beautifully. We are grateful to Sacred Vedic Arts for sharing with us the extraordinary works of Siramarani Didi, a world-renowned spiritual teacher and artist. She's over there, you'll meet her later. Her art invites us to pause, reflect, and experience the harmony of mantra and melody through visual language that is both timeless and deeply inspiring. I would like to thank our partners, our administration, staff, faculty, and students, and all of you here for joining us. And I'd like to do a special shout out to the committee members. If you want to wave your hand, the Asian American I'd also like to give a warm welcome to the president of our campus, Dr. Oscar Loinas. Thank you for coming. Together, we celebrate not only art, but also the vibrant cultures and voices that enrich Miami-Dade College and our wider community. Welcome, and please enjoy the exhibit. I'd like to also welcome one of our prestigious members of the Asian American Advisory Board of Miami-Dade County, Dr. Subarayan Pochi. He will say a few words.
Hare Krishna. Respected Srimati Shyamarani Dasi, Vasanti Didi, Prabhu Haridas, Professor Dr. Johnson, esteemed members of the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Committee members, and distinguished guests. Thank you for the opportunity to share a few words with you. I warmly recall almost now 10 years back, a decade back, we started this collaboration, and we started with an exhibition on Hinduism almost 2018 or 2017. Now we are in 2025. Last year we continued that event with some lecture and exhibition, and here is the third in the series. I hope more will come forward in this school. I also anticipate forming a chair or a scholarship on Hindu studies here, and hopefully with Krishna's blessing it may fructify very soon. Every part of the world holds its own unique wonders. Each culture contributes something irreplaceable to the collective human experience. And among these, art stands out. You know why? Because art transcends geographical, linguistic, and cultural boundaries. It speaks to the soul beyond words. Today we are gathered to honor and partake in the devotional creations of Srimati Shyamarani Dasi. I first came across her work about 2 years back. Even today, her work adorns my work table. From that moment, I was utterly mesmerized. What struck me most was the undeniable presence of deep devotion and love in every brushstroke. Only someone truly immersed in their spiritual practice could create such work of treasures of art. It's not a work of art, it's a treasure of art. I'm certain that as you experience her work, you too will feel the same depth, the devotion, and the divinity it carries. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson and Dr. Pucci. This is really beautiful. So one of the other amazing things that I like to share, my favorite fun facts of Shyamarani Dasi Devi, is that her predecessor, Srila Swami Prabhupada, said before she could not paint, and by the grace of chanting the Maha Mantra, the talent came out. So you're looking at the artwork of someone who had no formal training and who chanted the Maha Mantra, and through her pure devotion and practice, she became clearly a master at her work. And I also invite you to look at her work from 200 years in the future, as if we are in the past time, viewing this really, really sacred, special moment. And if anyone has any questions, you can come see me or any one of the brahmacharis in the saffron cloths. We're here to help you, and I can't wait to go into the gallery. Thank you all.
Hi everyone. Just before, I know everyone's eager to see the paintings, but before we go in, I just had to really give a huge shout out to our team that has put this together, that Sanatan Prabhu, our great designer, Mandali, our creator, should be here in a minute, and Randy, who will be here September 16th. On the 25th, we'll have another event with her at Shyamarani. And Gadakuja Prabhu, who's kind of been living here for a couple days. I don't know if he's even alive now. He had to repaint again today. And for all of Nanda Prabhu and all the devotees that have worked so hard to kind of bring us into another realm. We'll enter into the spiritual world when we go in. So I'm just so grateful to be part of this team. And thank you all so much for coming. And yeah, Hare Krishna.
Didi, would you like to say anything?
I'm very happy to see all of you, even this class that just came in. What class is that? You all came in together? Oh, you're not a class, you just coincidentally walked in together? That's beautiful, because we were expecting a class, maybe they'll come soon. So, yes, although I was hearing that I did this, and I did that. Actually, I have to say that I don't deserve any credit for the art because at most I was only a frayed paintbrush. And the guys that made it happen by their light, by their powers, their spiritual powers, is my two teachers, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj and Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj. There are two personalities from that realm, which you'll see when you go in there. The paintings are manifestations of that realm. I sort of complained to my spiritual teacher, Srila Narayan Maharaj, that I feel like I'm painting in the dark because I never know what is the next stroke after the one that I just made. Of course, as is being explained and as the brochure states, all of the ideas that the paintings are coming from, the pastimes, the philosophical truths, they're all coming from the ancient Vedic literatures. So I did have a lot of descriptions to go by, but still, being a resident of this world, I couldn't see into that one. So I complained to my spiritual teacher that I feel like I'm painting in the dark, that I never know what the next stroke should be. Like I'm sitting there and I do a stroke, when I look around, okay, who's going to do the next stroke? But there's nobody there. Okay, I'll try to do it. So I told my spiritual teacher that, and he said, so just paint by my light. In other words, remember him, remember his teachings, and also, as Jennifer mentioned, keep chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, because all of God's powers, His beauty, His mercy, is all in those holy names. So by a combination of all of that, and I may say, by eating this spiritual food that's been offered in with ancient mantras to offer food to the Lord, eating a lot of that in the last 58 years, that also made the paintings happen. So we'll be giving tours, as Jennifer mentioned. I think everyone can fit in there, and I'll be having mics to take everyone around. But besides that, there's so many of the devotees who know the background of the pastimes and the philosophy who can help you out. So we're actually so honored to have you, and we hope that you'll visit us at our center for the chanting, for hearing Vedic philosophy, and by getting the vibes, as they say, for higher consciousness. So now we go in there. Is that what happens? So now we'll all be walking just a few steps to the gallery on our left, and I hope that you all have a great, nourishing time. Well, I just want to quote. This is Dan. Can you raise your hands? You, with the blue shirt. This is Dan. And he got an art book, one of the big art books that shows a few hundred of the paintings. He was just telling me about a half hour ago, and so he thought, these paintings are beautiful, but I need to get the description so I know what I'm looking at. But then before he read the transcription, when he just looked at the paintings gave him so many feelings and even thoughts. Thoughts means, you know, it has words to it, that he felt complete just by doing that. So I hope that you get the same experience, although Sanatan did manufacture some beautiful signs that tell the story of the paintings. So let's go, without further ado.
By the sign in tape. Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, good to see you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Eli.
Don't worry, when you have to bring a wife, you bring a wife. Hey, they're waiting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. They want to go.
I'll just speak about one after another, but you can also feel through the browse, and we have these beautiful signs that we need to, which describes what's happening. Is everyone in? I say I'm feeling you all that you're extremely lovely group, spiritual, going after higher consciousness. All right, so here we are. This is the first painting, which I did in the mid-70s. Our spiritual teacher, Srila Prabhupada, was manifesting about 70 volumes. Oh, what are you doing? Any of you are artists, right? You might like to look at the brush strokes and the details. Yeah. If anybody wants this sort of up front, you're welcome to. So he was creating, publishing, translating the ancient Bengali language, Sanskrit language, 70 books of Vedic wisdom, some from 500 years, some from 5,000 years. And so this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is, you could say, another feature of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And he's now in the midst of what's called impersonalist philosophers, who all believe that God is just a light, he has no qualities, he's an it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is using references from the ancient Vedas to convince them that God is a person. He's our best friend. He created us, and at that time of creation, he gave us a seed of the beautiful eternal relationship that we have with him. That's what's happening here. Because relationships in this world are temporary and kind of reflections of our relationship with him. And here, have any of you heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita, great. I see a lot of hands there. So, this is Sanjaya. He's speaking the Bhagavad Gita. Now the Bhagavad Gita took place 90 miles from where he's speaking, yet he gives a blow-by-blow account. This happened and that happened. Arjuna was about to shoot his arrows, but then he realized, oh my God, those are my relatives on the other side. It didn't really hit him until the fight was about to start, and there are thousands of warriors on both sides. So how is he able to see 90 miles away? This is his self-realized teacher, Vyasdev. Vaipayana Veda Vyas. He actually gets the shout out, you could say, for being the literary incarnation of God and the manifester of all the Vedic literatures of thousands of years old. So what he's doing now, he's giving spiritual power to his disciple, Sanjaya. And so he's getting the ability to see 90 miles away. We'll see where he's speaking in just a few minutes. But this is what he's seeing. He's seeing Arjuna. Arjuna is the hero. And here, you can get as close as you like. You can see him weeping because he's just not, you can see all the brush strokes, the bowls of paint here and there. You could even feel the three-dimensionality of some of the brush strokes. So he is a friend of Krishna, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, according to Bhagavad Gita and all the Vedic literatures. And so now he drops his bow, he falls down on his seat, and he says, "Oh Krishna, I cannot fight. How can I kill with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are my elders in our family? Sin will certainly overtake us." So here's Krishna blessing Arjuna. And he said, no, because this is a religious war, not like they say these days, that we have to kill all the religions because we're the supreme religion, and all the terrorism and all that. This is a religious war so that the pious, saintly, rightful owners of the world's throne can have their seat, and those who are cheating the people, torturing the people for their own benefit, like we see today, he became Arjuna's chariot driver. And he's teaching that everyone who dies on the battlefield, he will achieve higher heavenly planets. So nobody's at a loss here. And then he's teaching Arjuna from another level. While speaking learned words, you're actually mourning for what's not worthy of grief. Because the wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Just as the soul, we're all soul, continually passes in this body from childhood to old age to then death and then another body. So similarly, it goes to that other body depending what it's thinking about at the time of death. So he makes Arjuna fearless, and he's also manifested to Arjuna his universal form. That is, thousands of heads and arms, blazing fires coming out of his mouth, the sun being one eye, and the moon being the other eye, the lower planets being at his feet, the upper planets being his head, clouds being his hair, an incredible form that Arjuna saw. You'll see that because I think many of you now have the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna said, you can only be an instrument because you can see that all the bad guys are all entering my fiery mouths, because it's destined that you pious princes be again enthroned. So Bhagavad Gita has thousands of verses, so I'm just going to drop. And these are Krishna's celestial horses. Believe it or not, they have blue ears. And they're rearing to go. We're ready to fight. You can stop talking. This whole conversation took place in only a half hour, as he gave this magic, transcendental knowledge to relieve Arjuna of all fear, all distress. And that's the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. It's the purpose of all the Vedic literatures. I know students, teachers, deans, managers, especially these days, have so much stress, and the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita gets rid of all that stress. And so here, this takes place in the palace, and this is Dhritarashtra. He's the father of all the bad guys. He has 100 sons. And he wanted his sons to conquer and exploit the world. So Sanjaya, that same one who just got empowered, he's speaking to the blind king, blind by birth, blind by spiritual awareness. He's speaking to the king in the palace, what's happening 90 miles away. He got that from his spiritual teacher, and now he's telling him that wherever there's Krishna, supreme master of all mystics, and Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will always be victory, power, opulence. And so then, the purport is, if we also come on the side of Krishna, that will also happen to us. So let's run to, and then even after this tour, you can read as you like. So, being unlimited, Krishna has many ages. And here he is as a child of about 2.5. So all children in this world are kind of like reflections of Krishna. Krishna means all attractive, or the reservoir of all pleasure. So here, Krishna is just like a little boy. He was being breastfed by his mother. And then mother, her name is Yasoda, she noticed that the milk pot, from which she would make all kinds of milk sweets for Krishna, the milk pot was boiling over. So she put Krishna down, and she went over to stop the boiling, the milk from boiling over the side. And Krishna is thinking, for my mother, she's neglecting me. I have to do something to take revenge. So we noticed that the butter pot is here. So we thought, I'm just going to take all that butter right now, butter and yogurt. So he threw a rock, it hit the bottom of the pot, and then he thought, I'll get away, and she won't even notice that I came. But just like children think like children, he didn't realize that he was making butter footprints all over. So she was easily able to find him, and now she's thinking, so this grinding mortar, do they have that in America? This grinding mortar that you climbed up on to steal the butter from the rafters is your accomplice. So now I'm going to tie you to death as a punishment. And so here Krishna is saying, no, mother, please forgive me, I'll never do this again. So first she showed her stick. He said, no, mother, don't do that, or she'd never do it. So she became compassionate, now she's trying to tie me. So every time she got more and more rope, it was always 2 inches too short. And all the neighbors also got all the ropes from their home, and it was yards and yards long. But still, it was too short. So then, it was sweating, changing color, and then Krishna became compassionate and allowed himself to be tied. What is the significance of the 2 inches? You were, thank you. So, 2 fingers actually, 2 fingers too short. So 1 finger represents our endeavor, and the other finger represents God's mercy to be successful at anything. So she was making a tremendous endeavor, and finally Krishna said, okay. But that wasn't the end of it. So Krishna's crawling out of his house into the courtyard, and his friends push him through these 2 trees. And then the trees toppled over with a majorly big crash. And 2 demigods, means powerful beings from the heavens, came out of the trees because they were cursed to become trees because promiscuity of playing with some girl, naked girls, they were naked in the river. So they glorified Krishna, and then he gave them liberation. So we have many books like Krishna book, the Art book, Krishna, the Lord of Sweetness, where all these stories are told. And here, Krishna's a little bit older, and anybody can ask a question at any time. So Krishna's a little bit older now, and his father was taking a bath in the river. We didn't use showers in those days. Everyone took a bath in the river because the river was very sacred. But he was taking bath too early. So what happened was, it was probably night. He was taking bath, and so this is Varuna. Just like, you buy a sprinkler system, and it's somebody's company. So similarly, it rains, doesn't it? It rains all over the place, especially this season, the hurricane season in Miami. And so there's somebody in charge of all the waters, the oceans, the rivers. And so some of his assistants arrested Krishna's father and brought him down under the water. So Krishna and his brother Balaram were looking everywhere. Finally, they came down into the water, and the king of the waters, his name is Varuna. He's in charge of the fish and just everything underwater. And so he began to glorify Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You've come, my life is complete. Here, take your father. So even the demigods, the controllers of the sun and the moon and the waters, they're like department heads of Krishna, the president of everything. So they're all glorifying him. Yeah. So if you want to get into material things, I wanted to show that they're underwater. Sometimes there's streaks that come on the body from the water, so everything has streaks. And I had to look up, in all of the pictures, I have to look up, what does a butter pot look like? What is underwater, if somebody's underwater look like? So we used a lot of references, prayed to the personalities, because they're really there, and chanted. So this is the final one that I did. This is the most recent one. This is called Kunja Kirtan. Kunja means secluded groves. The original age of Krishna, that is a youth of about 14. So even though he seems to grow up, actually it's a really deep philosophy. This is his original age, and the other ages are his expansions. So here he's with his beloved, Radha. When we chant Hare, that is Radha, who is the power, just like we hear that behind every great man is a great woman, right? And the wife in the Vedic culture is called the better half of the husband, because she's his power that inspires him. So she's the power of God, who is the embodiment of his beauty, wealth, fame, knowledge, renunciation. And these are her holy friends. And they're all doing, just like we did in the other room, they're doing kirtan with different kinds of instruments. Like you saw the mridanga and the tambura and little cymbals. So they're all dancing for the pleasure of Krishna. So she is the original leader of all kirtan, and that's the eternal. He's the commander-in-chief. So this one, most of the paintings took about a month or 2 months to do. But this one took about 11 years, because I was doing so many things in between, and editing and doing posts and stuff like that. And so coming back and forth, this was just completed a couple of years ago. spiritual teacher ordered me, you'll see later, when you go back into the conference room, you'll see our big art books, which have a few hundred paintings in them, and lovely inscriptions, which I mentioned. But then you can study this at your home if you like. So he told me to do this art book, he said, and give a copy to the president. And oh, what will he do when he sees them? So by his praise, we were able to give a copy to the president of India and the prime minister, who's like the face of India, Prime Minister Modi. So this is Krishna with his beloved Radha, and they're performing beautiful pastime by the Jamuna River, very sacred river in India. Deep, deep pastime. And here, because all those beautiful damsels that you saw in the other painting of the group, they're all expansions of Radha. Because, you know, God is unlimited, so he has unlimited desires to enjoy in unlimited ways. So here, if a man has that desire, he has to leave one girl and go get another girl, or have a couple of girls at the same time, and then drop them, and then get another one. Never completely satisfied, unless their hearts become one. So here, she forgets that all the other damsels are her expansions. So she's thinking, oh, Krishna hasn't come to the designated spot, and I'm waiting for him in this dark forest for so long. So if maybe he's with another gopi, so if he doesn't see my beautiful garlands, beautiful ornaments, beautiful dress, my beautiful features, then what's the use of them? They have no use. My beautiful garland has now become just like arrows piercing my heart. So the interesting thing, or one of the innumerable interesting things about this, is that because Krishna is an absolute person, and okay, if I'm chanting apple, 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 it doesn't bring the apple. Even if I chant the name of a person, I move. John, John, John. It doesn't bring John. But because Krishna is an absolute person, he's not different from his name. And she keeps saying and thinking of the name Krishna. And he's not different from his remembrance. So she's remembering him, all of the sweet times that we've had together, and the sweet times that she's waiting to have together. But interestingly, Krishna is present in all of that. So Krishna is actually with her, and she's experiencing his presence in all that feeling of separation. It was a magic land. And here, Krishna is apologizing for being late. And she's actually thrilled that he's there, but she's acting angry. Like, oh, I know where you were, just go back to that other lover. Don't try to win my favor. But really, she's in ecstasy. And really, they're always in ecstasy. Here in this world, there's two sides, happiness and distress. But there, both happiness and distress are both sides of happiness. but for variety, for tasting various mellows, sometimes she looks angry in order to increase his eagerness. His eagerness is a major part of bhakti or devotion. It's the price that we pay. Well, I'll chant a little here, I'll read a little there, it really doesn't matter if I get into it or not, and I'll never attain the goal. So, it's the same thing with Krishna. He has to pay the price of having her association. Because even though she's condemned as the sunlight comes from the sun, still, without her as his better half, he feels lost. And he's qualities, because she is the embodiment of all of his qualities, godly qualities, like beauty, strength. He held a mountain for 7 days. Left fingernail of his left finger. So where does he get his power? From Radha. So here she's playing hard to get. He has to beg and show more eagerness. So finally she accepts him. It's another world, it's not like here. Is everybody getting some idea? So this is, he's one of the commentators of our Bhagavad Gita. His name is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Here on this big panel that's not created, you can see all the brushstrokes. Innumerable brushstrokes. As I said, it's all the descent of the divine. So here's the commentators. Almost 500 years ago, he's in Vrindavan, which is the sacred holy land that Krishna descended into 5,000 years ago. So here, because everything is natural now, he's in temples or go to the store. But here, he made the ink out of minerals, natural minerals. And then he has this peacock feather stick that comes to a point, and then he could write. And this is his water bottle. He sits on a sacred kusha mat. And this is, maybe you've seen this type of table and mats in India or in Indian descriptions. And these are the beautiful deer and cows of Vrindavan. You'll be interested to know that this cave or sacred secluded grove, you can see how it's decorated, because unlike here, where people can do something, they can make flower arrangements. So there, even the forests are full of knowledge, full of bliss, full of eternal, ever fresh, ever new existence. So the kunj, the grove, decorated itself. And everything in the spiritual world is full of rapture. The peacocks, the plants, not like here. And you see this big picture? Well, here's where it came from. As I mentioned, Radharani plays hard to get. So when Krishna approaches her, no thanks, just to increase his eagerness. So Krishna can never really find out the extent of her love because she won't admit it. So here, you can see how textured. And anybody, if you'd like to get close, it's such a textured work. So Krishna disguised himself as a young maiden from the heavenly planets. And he's telling Radha that why do you love Krishna so much? He always goes from one maiden, one gopi to another. And she said, no, you don't understand. Krishna and I are one soul in two bodies, or one stem with two flowers, a blue flower and a golden flower. And we always know our hearts. And even when Krishna is with other gopis, he's always thinking about me. And then I also feel transcendental suffering, which is another type of ecstasy, thinking how he's not happy with anyone else. So it's really a magical spiritual world, and it's beyond our conception. We can't imagine what such things can be. So one more thing about this is that just like we have different moods, does anybody here have different moods?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just famished, sometimes you're irritated, sometimes you're overjoyed, sometimes you're a little more feisty, sometimes a little more submissive. So Radharani, being the unlimited power of Krishna, she has unlimited moods. And so what she does is, because she's the complete personality with the unlimited moods, she pleases Krishna perfectly, but she also manifests her unlimited moods into unlimited maidens, each one with a different mood. And so Krishna enjoys with them just to experience Radharani's different moods. Nobody pleases him completely except her. Is anybody getting anything? It's so high.
Does he change the name?
What?
Does he change his name? What's the name of that gopi? Person.
It comes to me as Shama, we have a book. Because yeah.
Easy stuff is one of
Okay. So here,
Sorry to go to a new class just came in, so if you want to. I guess we can finish this and then we'll.
there's 60 people, and then they can roll around and do them before.
Vasanti. So this would be
So how do you want to work it?
When you're done explaining this, I'll.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the last one in this show. But as I mentioned, there are hundreds, and they're all in the article. So here, Srimati Radhika is again experiencing that transcendental jealous, loving jealous anger. So Krishna wants to please her. So he comes dressed as a singer. And one of the other gopis presents him that his name here is Kalavati, or the beautiful artist. And she, because he's dressed as a female dancer and singer, she was singing so beautifully that the priest of the heavenly planets took her up to heaven and trained her for 1 year. So now she's come back to earth and she's going to sing for you. So when Radharani hears this beautiful singing, her heart melts and tears come from her eyes. So that's what's happening. In fact, all of her friends, all the other gopis, they're also weeping in ecstasy to hear this beautiful singing. And she gives up her jealous anger and then Krishna reveals who. And this here, her name is Tulsi Devi. She's also a resident of that realm, as one of the gopis, who arranges what she's like the choreographer of the spiritual world, arranging which deer will come out, which parrots will sing, what flowers will bloom right now. And so then she comes to earth in the form of a plant. It's all inconceivable. She comes to earth in the form of a plant, so that when we make food offerings to Radha and Krishna, that it becomes spiritual food, as you can be taking in a little while. If we put a tulsi leaf on each of the preparations, then Krishna is very, very happy to eat that food. And then what comes back to us is called prashadam or mercy. So that's the end of this story, although there are several photos, letters from the spiritual teacher who would like that. You can also, at your own leisure, browse the descriptions. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, thank you all so much. So for the first group, if you want to get seated,
The thanks go to you all for your pureness that inspired us to do this.
yes, thank you. So you guys can head into the conference room for prasadam and to visit the art book table and for kirtan a little bit later. So we'll make some space in the gallery now for the second group. And to all of the lovely new people who just entered the art gallery, can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay. I just want everyone's attention. So, welcome to Mantra and Melody with devotional artwork by Shrimati Shamrani Dasi Didi of the Sacred Vanguard Center. She's standing right here. And we're going to start the second tour now with the painting on the far left, right by the title. So if you want to just gather over there.
So, as Jennifer mentioned, you're all invited to the conference room, and Viragraja will help you at the table, and a few other devotees will help you with the dinner. And at the kirtan, maybe you all love to sing and dance with us.
Yeah, we hope you do. Okay, so let's start the second tour. Also, I just wanted to mention that when Dee is speaking, let's just keep our voices down so she doesn't have to talk over so many people as you talk over me. And then also, just don't touch the artwork. as well. And then put your phones on silent if you can, please, so she can just go through the explanations. If you put on these headphones, you'll hear the audio to her documentary as well. So take some extra time to listen to this. One at a time. So in this documentary, we look at the history of Srimati Charanidasi Didi herself, which started in the 60s in the Lower East Side of New York. She's a Brooklyn girl.
Yeah.
So who's in the class? Which is done? And anybody can have a second tour if you like. Mostly it's for those who just came in. Right, so where's the class? Those who are in the class and just came in and have a tour. And the previous folks who at the first tour and browse or go into conferences. These are my paintings that I did from the mid-70s. I'd say the most recent one was finished a couple of years ago. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Krishna himself, or God himself, who appeared 500 years ago in order to teach by example how to become a devotee, an ecstatic worshiper of God in his original form as Krishna. And so he would chant with hundreds of thousands, Hare Krishna mantra, with hundreds of thousands of people at the same time, and show how one can feel ecstatic and get all knowledge and experience a life of eternity by that chanting. So here is convincing many people who, they're from a group called Mayavadis, or impersonalists. who think that God is just a white light, or that he's a nothing, or that he's a jealous God. But he's teaching that Krishna, the supreme Godhead, as you'll read when you go into the conference room, you'll see we have lots of books. Has anybody heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, the Bhagavad Gita means the Song of God. It's the ABCs of spiritual life. Who am I? Who is he? What is our relationship? How to be happy in a stressful world. Don't you feel stress a lot? Homework, tests. Friends turning to enemies. It's one stress after another. So he's convincing those who are called impersonalists to understand that God is a person, he's my best friend, he's the most beautiful, most merciful, and even though he has unlimited parts and parcels, like we're all part of God, but he is conscious of all of us, and he's ready to give his whole self to each of us, just like you all have so many parts in your body, right? So you have toes, right? Would you consider the toes as less significant than a face or an arm and a hand? It's nothing, the toes. But if that toe gets stubbed, hit a rock, all of your attention goes to that toe, even though the toe is so insignificant. So even though we're all very tiny, and there are innumerable of us, and so many species, he's in every one of our hearts, and he's ready to give his full attention. We just turn to him. So, I'm going to take you over here first, because it's a little bit backwards. This is Sanjaya, and he's speaking to the blind king, very evil king, named Dhritarashtra, who has very evil sons. And his sons illegally usurped the power of the actual rulers of the earth, who are very pious, merciful, always wanting to protect their citizens. Probably have it a lot in this world as well. This government taking over that government, because they didn't like that government, and that they're more treacherous than the previous government. We read about it in the newspapers all the time. And then there are a lot of lawless countries these days. Yes. So, he was an evil king of 5,000 years ago. And this is his secretary, Sanjaya. And he's asking his secretary, what's taking place between my sons, the evil sons, and the sons of Pandit, the good ones. And then, now that Sanjaya is telling him what's happening 90 miles away, this whole background here is the battlefield, 90 miles away, and it's in the heart of Sanjaya, like a TV show. So, wouldn't that be great if we could have the whole spiritual realm in our heart and see it like a TV show? That's what he's doing. And then how did he get and see the good guys are winning? How did he get that power? Let's come over here. Here we see that Sanjaya, as a teacher, who's a self-realized soul, can see past, present, and future. And he actually is the personality who manifested all the ancient wisdom books of India. And here, because he has so many mystic perfections, mystic cities, like a person who has all these mystic perfections, he can become lighter than an atom, he can fly without a plane, he can bring anyone under his control, he can reach out like that and get a fruit from another planet. So he is glancing over his disciple, Sanjay, and giving him the mystic perfection of being able to see and hear what's happening on a battlefield 90 miles away. And this is what he's seeing. He's seeing Krishna, who the Vedic literatures accept as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all other incarnations, the cause of all universes, planets, people, different species, and he's also the friend and well-wisher, because as I mentioned, he has a beautiful, intimate relationship with each of us. It's just a matter of our realizing that. And the books that we have in the conference room, and also prints of the paintings, they give all kinds of evidence about breezing through. So you can avail yourself of those if you like. And also, when you all go into the conference room, before the folks who are already here, they got to experience what's called kirtan, or the congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Are any of you familiar with that? The students, brand new? Or what? Please try. Okay. So he's speaking to his friend Arjun, who is on the battlefield, because now is the chance to get back the kingdom so that the citizens will be happy. But there has to be a war. Because Krishna had previously told the leading son of that evil king, look, by nature they're rulers. Can't you at least give them one village each to rule? So that son of that king said, what? I wouldn't even give them the land that fits on the head of a needle, or to speak of the village. So Krishna said, all right, then there must be war. So here he's speaking to Arjuna the truth of spirituality, that we're not these bodies, we're spirit souls. Whatever we think about at the time of death, that state we attain. I'm going to give a really simplistic example. Suppose somebody loves the barbecue. And so the barbecue stuff, all the meat, fish, eggs, and all of that, it's not the food for humans. Humans are supposed to be vegetarian and then concentrate on spiritual life. So in their next life, they may become tigers. So that instead of going to the store after a week of work be a tiger and chase all your zebras. And eat right on the spot while you work 9 to 5 every day. So, he's teaching spiritual truths. He's explaining about his own self. He says, just as pearls are hung on a thread, so everything is resting on me. Anyway, so in the end, Arjuna's ready to fight. And the horses, they're celestial horses, they're also ready. Okay, let's go here. This is Krishna as a child, a 2.5-year-old child, and he's in one of his loving pastimes with his mother, Yashoda. Here, she's upset with him because he stole the butter and the yogurt from the house and without asking his mother, and just ate it for himself. So here she's kind of chastising him, but out of love. Where did the other students go? That's the real attractive feature. Well, just go quickly, so you can also go there. So, this is Krishna, a little bit older, and he's having a pastime underwater. And this is the demigod of the waters. It's like everything has a controller in this world. Like, see the lights? There's a company who made those lights. Well, then there are bigger lights, like the sun and the moon. That also has control. This is the presiding deity or controller of all the waters. So Krishna came, and his brother Balaram, his first expansion, came underwater to give their association to the god of the waters, is glorifying. And here we have Krishna and his beloved Radha, and all of Radha's, not all, there's just a few, but she has unlimited friends called gopis, or cowherd maidens. And they're all singing and dancing in the glorification of Krishna. They have no idea is God. He's just their beloved. You just came in? Oh, okay.
Are they the same ones that saved Bhima? When Bhima was poisoned and went into the water? Is it all totally different?
Yeah. I'll ask one of the devotees to give you, just this minute, a personal tour. And this one's done. Okay. That's what's happening here. And here, this is another mystic treat. That is, Radha and Krishna, according to the ancient Vedas, together are the supreme absolute truth. Male and female. Not just male. But she is Krishna's feminine counterpart. And she is the embodiment of his intrinsic power or energy. She is the source of his being the most beautiful, the most strong, not most, that's a relative word, all beautiful. Like everybody here has some beauty. And all that beauty is coming from him, so he's the most beautiful, all beautiful. And then he lets out some of his beauty, he lets out some of his strength in different degrees to different entities. So she is his power. But in order to make their past sometimes if you're always with somebody, you know, it gets boring. It could get boring. If you're always with the same person. Just like, you know, here is Atlantic Ocean, right? So when we go in the morning, very early in the morning, the ocean is very calm. Not quite like not as calm as a lake or a swimming pool, but it's relatively calm. Later in the day, sometimes, it just gets ferociously waves. And so, there has to be waves in the ocean in order to keep the interest. I don't know how many of you have been to India, but there's a city in India called Jagannath-puri. And if you go to the ocean there, you can stand there and watch the TV show. And how interesting those waves are. So even though they're one, and even though she's his intrinsic power, she becomes married to Krishna's shadow, because there's only them. So she's married to Krishna's shadow so that they can play as paramours. You know, paramour love, like you go out with another man's wife or something like that. Which in this world is not appreciated on a lower level. But this is the pristine pastimes. It's really the one, and they manifest as two in order to enjoy these pastimes. I just want to mention for a minute that over there's a video where I'm speaking, and this beautiful girl here, Jennifer, she's listening to the video on headphones. If any of you would like to do that later, it is only one headphone. Then you can welcome to do that also. So here, Krishna heard from the parrots that Radha is going to be at the holy Yamuna River. So he just happens to be there because he heard from the parrots. And he says, "Oh, I see you have two big, heavy water pots. Can I help you with one of them?" He says, "No, thank you. I'm a chaste married woman, and you're just a debauchee. You have so many beloveds." Because all the beloveds are her expansions, but she forgets that. So why does she do that? In order to increase his eagerness. Now girls play hard to get, or guys play hard to get. This is the origin. And here, that same Radha is lamenting the separation from Krishna, thinking, Krishna's not here to enjoy my beauty, my ornaments, my beautiful garments, my beautiful garlands. He's not singing. So what is the use of them if they can't please Krishna? So she is also the original guru. You know, our group comes in a chain of disciplic succession of self-realized spiritual teachers. So she is the original guru. She's even the guru of Krishna. She's the praying guru whose love drives him mad, even though she's from him. It's an inconceivable thing. So, what was I going to say? Who was I going? Oh yeah, so she's the guru because ultimately we were created, according to the Vedic literatures, with the purpose, because we're part and parcel of Krishna, with the purpose of pleasing him, as the parts please the sun. Like my hand gives everything to the stomach, which is the source of nothing happens. So, as the original guru, she's teaching us that the perfection, success, completeness of our life is to serve the whole of that expression. So, and here is Krishna and Radha in a loving past, and I want to give that you can all get to the accomplishment. And then when you go there, you have a big congregational kirtan. You can all hear the mantra and rejoice and you can just dancing. So, yeah, so this is one of the main commentators of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the ABC of spiritual life. That spoke about Krishna himself, about spiritual reality. His name is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and as he's writing his commentary, he's weeping in the ecstasy of thinking what his commentary or explanation of the verses will be. So he made his own name. This is 500 years ago. He made his own name, his own pen. He has his own water pot. What is he writing on? He's writing in Sanskrit, the original language of the earth, and he's writing on palm leaves. They didn't have paper. So the oldest books are palm leaf books. And then, as time passed, they copied the palm leaf books on paper, and then printed this in the now we're billions of these rare transcendental literatures. So this is Radha and Krishna engaged in a loving pastime at her house, at her home, big palace, because her father was one of the two kings of the abode of Krishna, the planet of Krishna, called Vrindavan. This is another one where Krishna is disguised. He doesn't want Radha to know who he is, so he's disguised as a female singer. And he's singing so beautifully, a female voice, and her heart melts, and you can see she's weeping, and her friends are weeping too. So that was into the royal winter. And if you like, you can take your own time to browse through the descriptions and see what was behind the paintings. Here's some photos of, this is me walking with my spiritual teacher through the Prabhupada, who actually began the Krishna consciousness project movement in the West some 65 years ago. This is when I was younger, making first books, and we used to work as a team. Sometimes we did the same, we worked on the same painting together, and there was a big rush to get the book published. And that's what's happening, these ones. And sometimes we go to the museum to see like Rembrandt or any of those old painters to get some ideas. Not a content, but just how to blend everything, how to create space, and all of that. This is my other spiritual teacher, Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaj. He told me what to paint, and then now he's commenting, correct this, correct that, it should be this color, and this is that painting just behind it. That's how it yeah, so we don't have this one with us today because it's in India. These are some of the paintings in the process. This one became that one over there. these are before the computer came, typewriters. So our spiritual master used to write us letters and give some directions what should be included in the paintings. And then, again, this is a video done by a very professional videographer, and one by one, I wish we had one. Next one. Okay. This is the art book that I mentioned that has a few hundred paintings in it, and there's other copies in the copy. And now you're welcome to order the copies from, have some dinner, share some share time, take a look at the books, posters, it's any number of books and any number of posters. So you won't believe this, but many information. So let's go. President of our center. Thank you.
This is Thank you so much for coming and come visit our center in the design district. We have flyers, badges, and please sign our guest book, your email, and our newsletter. Yeah, feel free to peruse and come into the conference room for dinner.
And we'll be here for 1 month, if anyone wants to go back.
Oh no, careful. This guy really likes to sneak in.
Live streaming. What's your review of the last meal?
15 out of 5.
Whoa, times 3. Wow.
15 over 5. No, wait, that's 15 to 5. Not 15. Okay. 3 over.
2 thumbs
11
up.
over 10. 11 over 10. 7 thumbs up. Unlimited thumbs up.
108 thumbs
108
up.
thumbs up. And here's one.
Here's another one.
Here's another one.
And here's another one.
Is anyone watching actually?
There's 7 people. Hi.
Is there 7 viewers?
7 viewers, yes.
7 viewers? Hi. How do you go?
Rest easy, no.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
But yeah, they
Very like open.
Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Please stop by. We're here for the whole month until the 30th. So come check out the books, check out the art, and get some prashad. Okay, Haribol, thank you. Hare Krishna.